Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's an absolute pleasure to be here today and to welcome us to day two of this webinar. I want to thank all our participants that joined in yesterday. Just give a few minutes, 10 minutes for parties to join in. Thank you. Good afternoon again. I want to welcome each and every one of you to today's webinar. I want to thank you for connecting and connecting early. We could just give a few minutes till maybe 3:07 to give more participants space to join in. Thank you again. Meanwhile, I just want to bring to our notice those of us who are on the call that there is a Tech Skills Lab community group chat. I'm sure the link will be pasted while the webinar is ongoing or while the session is ongoing. So we are free to join in. Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We're again more than welcome to today's skills session. And we want to take a recap from yesterday's meeting. Mr. Chicha is on the floor, our teacher from yesterday. So, Mr. Chicha, you can have the floor to do a little recap of yesterday to bring everyone that is on the call today up to speed with what we discussed yesterday. Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, Vice Esther. Hello, can anyone hear me?
Hello, teacher. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, everyone.
My name again is Chicha, and we had a session yesterday on hello. So we had a session yesterday on structures of folder management on our system. We discussed about storage systems and how to use cloud storage system. We talked about how to set up events or on a Google Calendar. We talk about Microsoft Outlook. We also looked at using automated systems that are available out there, or you can also create a custom um, events management tracker for MBA branch, Garki branch. So we also looked at email structure to clients. We also looked at uh, naming conventions, how to name your documents such a way that they is easy for you to retrieve, it's easy for you to manage, it's easy for you to track, and it's easy for you to work with your client. We also talk about mapping workflow, how you follow up the case from starting to finish. So those were the basic things we looked at yesterday. So as for today's session, my colleague will walk you through on how to go on the next training topic. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, teacher. Also, and welcome everyone once again. I think just to highlight what we will be looking at today, or just to highlight what we'll be looking at today. For today, we'll be looking at document preparation and formatting. That's in Microsoft Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. Looking at preparation, formatting document. I find that converting from Word to PowerPoint can be a little tricky for some players. And I would like us to, especially in the age of this digital stamp, for those of us who are subscribed to the digital stamp, so please, let's pay attention, ask questions. I'll hand over to our facilitator. Thank you. And that our facilitator for today will be Mr. Ugodaga Osmond. Once again, my name is Falari Aliko. I'm the chairman of the Garki branch CLE committee. I'd like to welcome everyone. think I've seen a few names that I recognize, but everybody is welcome. We'll do recognition later on. Thank you. So, Osmond, over to you.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Budaga Osmond, and I'll be your facilitator for today.
Fine, thank you. Osmond, you can go ahead. The floor is yours.
Allow me on. Okay. Can you hear me now? Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. So today, our topic for today will be, like you said, the document preparation and formatting on Microsoft Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. Yeah. So I think we should begin. Can everybody see my screen? Hello. Hello.
Yes, I can see your screen.
Okay. So, um, based on what I just said, our topic of today will be preparation and formatting. So, there in that section, we're taking a branch of it, which will be digital bricks, modern document engineering, and legal tech mastery. So, moving on. This is it clear enough for everybody to read? Hello. 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 Is it clear for everybody to see and read?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Oh, okay. Great. Okay, good. So we'll continue. So introduction into um, modern documents and modern document engineering and tech mastery. So introduction into it. Let me read it so we can begin. Okay. In today's legal landscape, professional excellence, there is no longer just knowing about the law, but about mastering the digital tools that bring legal work to life with precision and speed. So simply, what it simply means is it's not all about, okay, I have the experience, I know my way around the law and all that. It's about using digital tools to master, excuse me, about using digital tools to master how to draft documents and other document related works. Okay, so let's continue. This curriculum bridges the gap between raw theory and practical execution by integrating advanced documents and engineering in Word, data-driven accuracy in Excel, and a strategic deployment in artificial intelligence. What this basically means is this course will be filling the gap between you and then using Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and also help you to strategically make research using AI. Okay, moving on. But by the end of this section, you will move from being a passive user of software to an efficient legal technologist. Emphasis on legal technologist because it's you being a barrister or a lawyer, and then also having vast knowledge on digital technologies that you can use in your field. Yeah, so capable of producing court-ready documents and backed arguments with total confidence. Okay, so our content for this course will be data preparation and formatting, practical Excel for legal works, and then we have practical Excel for okay, legal work also. Well, it's more like a sub branch under this practical Excel for legal work. So I broke it down into two so we understand it better. Now, moving on to the first one, which is document preparation and formatting. So let me quickly define it before we move it so we'll have a better and a clearer understanding on what it truly is. Document preparation and formatting is the act of structuring legal papers to ensure they are visually professional, logically organized, and compliant with strict court or internal standards. It moves beyond simple typing to use automated tools like styles and session breaks, ensuring that complex briefs remain consistent and easy to navigate from the first page to the last. So basically what this thing is how to draft documents that they look organized, presentable, and help you to arrange your document in a way that you alone won't be able to read it, but when you give it to someone else, you don't have to start explaining where things are and what things actually mean. Yeah. So moving on to our first subtopic under it, which will be structured use of Microsoft Word. So most beginners treat Word like a typewriter. In legal work, you must treat it like an architectural blueprint. Okay, so now I will move to a practical example of what I just did. So we can just see it. So can everybody see this particular page? Hello?
Yes, sir, we can see the page, sir.
Yeah, okay. So this is basically what I just drafted out so we could use it for a practical session. Yeah. So this is more like a document I just prepared. Okay. So let's move back to this. So the canvas, instead of hitting enter 20 times to get to a new page, you could use line break. So one of the things where we'll be needing, okay, while drafting documents, there are times whereby we want to move to a new page. Let's say we are done typing a particular article, and then we don't want to start a new one in that particular page. We want to move to a new page. So there are ways to do it. Take for example this particular page now. We still have space on that to start making. But no, if we would want to go to a new page, and instead of just clicking enter, or line break till get to a new page like this, instead of doing it or get a new page like this, we could literally just hit on, for Windows actually, is Control Enter, and then we are in the new page, as you can see. And Windows is Control Enter, but for Mac, you use Command Return. So you click on the command button and then return. Yeah. So let me make it again. So you can see it created a new page instead of me hitting enter all through. You see I get to new page. I just use either the control enter for Windows and the command return for Mac. Yeah, so next thing will be session breaks and essential for legal briefs. Use this to have a Roman numeral. Okay, yeah, for paraphrase slash table of contents and standard numbers for actual body and brief, actual body of the brief. So basically, what this is talking about is numbering. So it's more like how we do number lists. Let's say we have list of items or options that actually do need numbering. So what I'm trying to say is we could either use numbers like this, or we use Roman numerals. So we all know what Roman numerals are, which are our I for one, I for two, and so on and so forth. So that's what this. So before I move on to point two, does anybody have any question or anything to say? No.
No, sir, I don't. I think you can. Thank you,
Oh,
sir.
okay. So our second point will be styling, styles, numbering, and heading. So numbering is actually one of the broad topics in document formatting when it comes to Microsoft Word. So let me, that's why I had to bring it down here to explain better. So styles, think of styles as global settings. If your senior partner says change all the headings from blue to black, and you do it manually, and you don't do it manually, sorry, you right click the heading style and then change it once on every 50-page document. So basically what this thing means is, let's say my senior partner said I should change every uh, heading one style from red to, like you can see another heading one style here, and then another one here, and then let's say we have a lot of them and it's like a 50-page document. So instead of going manually to select like this and then changing them from, let's say, changing from red to green, you could literally just change one and then affect everyone, every other each header one document. So that saves a lot of time and it's much more easier to do. So basically what you just do is, let me change this from red to green, and then up here I could come and say, sorry, you go to home. You go to home first of all, the top left corner. Then you see the to this to then heading selected is back with inside one. So I just select this, come down here, then I'll use updates to match all sections. So basically what this thing means is if you use the styling for this heading and heading one and apply it to every other heading one document. So once I click updates, and then heading one has been updated successfully for this document. So all the heading one content view will be updated. As you can see, this was red before and now it's green, and same goes for this and this. So it applies to every other thing. If I should change this to blue, let's say I change it to something else like okay, let's say yellow. Okay, that yellow. Let me select something else that we can all see. Okay, let me use something. Just a sec. Red. Let's change back to red, and let's also apply this styling to every other styling. Then we say update the entire section. So every other thing has been updated to red back because I use the I'll call it shortcut. If you would do it manually, like it's basically going to be stressful and more time consuming. So yeah, that's for this. And then moving on to the next, we have a nested. This is a nested loop. So basically, what this simply means is the same numbering. So where we have sorry, that was all for the styling, like updating styles automatically instead of doing them manually. So next will be numbering. So yeah, this is for numbering where, like I explained in the previous point, where I said when you want to number items or lists of items or options that you have. So what you just do is I go here, and then if let's say I have list of things to write, and it automatically numbers it for me and automatically arranges it for me. So if I should click enter, sorry, then so, so that's how we number, and then okay, and then so what you, how you just that's how you number documents, or that's the proper way of numbering documents. Let me put it like that. So moving on to heading. So like I explained, like the example I used when changing the heading uh, styles or the heading components. So in Word, we have four type of uh, um, body. I'll call them property bodies. So we have heading one. That's basically like the biggest. Okay, let me select it. So that's basically like the biggest type of text form that that we have. So let's say you have topics, you can put your topics in a heading one property to give it a kind of bold and visible look. You could also give the let's say like you're drafting a letter heading or something. You could also use heading one for it. Can also use heading two for subtopics. Yeah, so let me change this back to heading one. And then we could also use heading two for subtopics. So this right here is a heading two property. And then we have heading three, also the smallest. So just look at it as heading one is the largest and heading two is second in command and there until you get to title. And then we have subtitle. So basically we use it to write our text in it. So whatever we write is let's take the letter now, the body of the letter, we could use subtitles to write it and then thereabout. So that's for heading. So we are through with point two. What, do we have any other questions, or do we have a question to ask on point two before we move to point three? Hello? Hello?
Can
Hello?
hear you, sir. Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Yeah, I said, do we have any questions to ask before moving to point three?
So usually we take questions at the end of the presentation.
Oh, okay. The
Yes,
reason
sir.
I
So
ask is
just keep.
so I
Okay.
can explain before moving on. That's fine. So moving on
All right, sir.
to point two, where we track changes and review discipline. So what discipline means is okay, let me read the definition first of all. So simple markup shows a clean version with a red line and red line in the margin. Good for heading. All markup shows every tiny division and comma change. So what this simply means is there are times where we have to send documents to either our colleagues or someone else, maybe our clients, and then for review before we could change. And then so yeah, it's correct. Then documents. So go check it out and see the document and go through it and understand it. So if they change, if possibly they change anything, we are going to know. So this is how you could set your documents to track changes. So what you do is you come to this top bar here, and then you come to review now, and then you come to markup. So we have simple and we have all markup. But we're talking about all markup in this same section. So that is, it's already on, it's mostly on all markup. Yes. And then we changes now. We turn on changes either for everyone or just mine. So what this simply means is you putting it up for everyone is we have instances where we share documents to either our colleagues or our clients, like I said, and if any changes were made by them, we are going to see the changes. But if we set it to just mine, whatever they edit, you won't be able to keep track of it. It's only keeping track of your own changes on the documents. So let's set this for everyone. And then uh, I click on enter. And then if you notice, this wasn't here before. This on the left side. So basically what it simply means is telling you that this particular line was edited. Yes. So if I Control Z, you can see that it's no longer there because I removed the changes that I made. So if I should delete a word, so it's going to show the word that I deleted, and then it's just run a slash through it. So if I, let's say I deleted it and then I add something else like, so it highlights the word in red and then highlight the new word and the deleted word and then shows shows the difference between both of them by putting slash on one and then leaving the other one on slash. So that's how we keep track of we turn on track we turn on tracking on a particular document. So whenever we share documents or not just even sharing documents with people, uh, whenever we are making changes, we could keep track of the changes we are making on a particular document. So that's what tracking documents. So compare changes. Never trust someone who says I only changed one sentence. So basically, if this were to be turned on and then someone changed, let's say multiple things on this file, and then just only tell us, okay, I changed this and I changed this, and then the other things that the person changed without telling us. If this were to be turned on, you'll be able to see the changes that they made. Well, if it's turned off, you won't be able to see it, and that's kind of like going to be a big problem for us if we don't have the original copy of the document. Yeah. So, for example, like I said, for example, you send a contract to an opposing counsel and they send it back. You use the compare tool to use the compare tool. What creates a third party showing you exactly what they added or deleted without telling you. So, what I just explained. Like, whatever they deleted or if they counted, basically just going to show you what I added here and for point three to be um, track changes and review discipline mastery. That's in case we don't know what table document format, so that's what PDF means. So PDF mastery, bundling. Think of this as a digital stapler. You take a letter, a contract, and a photo and merge them into one executable PDF. So basically, what bundling simply means is you saving your file, or I would say downloading it from Microsoft Word to into your computer as a hard copy or a soft copy, sorry, and then you having the file offline. That is what it basically is. It's basically trying to explain to us. So OCR, you mean the magic step. So if you can scan a paper document, it's just a, if you can scan a paper document, it's just a picture of words. You can't search for the word. You can't search for any word on it. So optical character recognition, that's basically what OCR means, turns that picture into an actual document you need to search and you can search and highlight. So basically what this is saying is let's take for example, we take a photo of something and then uh there are times whereby we want to select a particular text and it's kind of not possible because we don't have some certain features either on our phone or some certain applications that can help us with that. So what this basically means is optical character recognition, where we can get either we scan documents and then we'll be able to search for words on that document or either search for words on that document or highlights words on that document. So basically, that's what OCR means on on this particular point, this particular session. So moving on to the next, which will be the next subtopic under today's session, which will be the practical Excel for legal work. So let me define it. So for legal beginners, Excel isn't about complex accounting. It's about accuracy and accountability. If you get a math error in a settlement statement, you lose the client's trust. So what this basically means is, let me explain the definition. So there are instances whereby must have heard people say Excel is difficult, it's basically for accounting and stuff like that. Not really. We could use Excel for varieties of things. We could use it for our day-to-day calculations. We use it for saving just our clients' data, and we could use it for basically most of the things we do that has to do with either storing things in an organized form or uh, settling statement documents. So yeah, and also knowing how to use Word, it's Excel. It's a big plus on our side. So just so this is uh, and the amount of clients we get, amount of hours we spent on a particular attending to a particular client and all that. So on this table, what we have is clients, that's name of the client, we have hours, we have how much we charge per hour, and then we have dates, we have the total, and then we have transaction status. So here, let's just say Mr. Ayo, you attended to him for about 10 hours, 500 naira for charge or $500 for charge. Then the dates he we attended to him. And then this is the total, and then the status. So basically, what this simply means is it's just going to help us keep track of everything we are doing or everything we do in our day-to-day activities. So let's say we want to build this table ourselves again from scratch. So we should just do something like this. Okay, let me just do it here again. So what I'll do is I'll come to insert. So insert on Microsoft Excel, and then we have table, we have forms, we have to insert pictures, shapes, checkbox. We have different types of graphs, but we're not going to go into that today. What we'll be going into today, what we're looking at today is tables. So I click on tables. Then we can, okay, sorry. Mm, Let me just create another table down here. And then mm, mm, mm. Oh, sorry about that. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns, and then have 5. So we need just one more column. Yeah, so that's it. So here we have client. So let's just call this client's name. So and then we say number of hours. Say hours per check. So now we've created our table successfully, and then we can start filling in the uh, filling in the documents we want to fill in, or filling in whatever thing that we choose to fill inside. So let's say we want to fill, so let's just say, and then the number of hours, uh, say 10, let's just say 10, and then how much we charge for, let's say 800, or let's say 850 per hour, and let's say what this was that say 24th of February 2026. Okay, 26. So now, so that would be 8,500. Then transaction status, let's say using page. So just say not failed. So that's that. So basically, we just did this input all these manually. All we just did was input all this manually, which shouldn't be done that way because that's the essence of this session. So that's the essence of this section. So we could get familiar with Microsoft Excel and know basically how to use it. So first thing is let's make this much more easier. So let's create another one and then we'll automate the table to do the calculation for us and include other features in it that makes the work much more easier for us. So let's say and then for this place, which will be number of hours and charge per hour, instead of us always doing the calculation manually. So instead of us always doing the calculation manually, get the total, what we do is come down to formulas at the top bar here, and then we see insert a function. So basically what this does is whatever function we insert, we manifest on where we want it to manifest. So we click on insert function, then it brings out list of options we use. So, and then I say we should select a category. So basically what we need here is a category that has to do with mathematics and trigonometry. So select math and trig, and then we have different formulas for calculation. We have cos, we have decimals, degrees. But what we'll be looking at is multiplication because on this table, what we just did here was multiply 10 hours by 850. So 850 per hour, then multiply by 10. So let me go back and select product because in maths, product is multiplication. So click on product and click on next. So the next thing is uh, set our tables, assign the function um, to each cell. So we call them cells in Microsoft Excel. Each box I will see here is a cell. So to be multiplied by this. So and then I'll click insert. So what I just did is select where I want the results to be. So let me undo this. So let me undo this and do it again so you see it. So I want the total to be here, and then what I'll just do is insert function, and then scroll down to product, and then scroll down to product. Product is multiplication, like I said in math. We selected products, click on next, select where and where we want to multiply. Then I click on this first one and then the second one. If I wanted a third one, I would add arguments, but I don't actually do need a third one. So I'll click on insert. So yeah, like I said, we're having zero because we haven't given this any number. So let's say I have 850 here, and then I have 5 hours. So basically, as you can see, it calculated it for me. I don't have to manually do the calculation either with my head, or a calculator. Either with my head or a calculator. So that's for the we could also use additions too if we want to, excuse me, if we want to do the same for additions too. Let's say we want to add whatever is here and here to get the total here. So like I said, where you want the total to be is here, or wherever you want the total to be, you select the place. So then you come down to still on math and trade, then you come down to sum. Let's see where then, like I said, where what and what you want to what and what cell you want to add to get that, to get the total of to get their total. So I want here and here. Give me the total when it starts. And then I come here and say let's put a random number, let's say to 15, and let's say 800. So as you can see, it did the addition for us. 250 plus 800 obviously is 1050. So yeah, that's for uh, adding, subtracting, and multiplication function. So, I would want us here uh, drop downs. We don't have to type this manually. Just the way we have here. We can click on this and then we have list of options to select from. You can have list of options to select from. So let's say we want to use paid, successful, completed, or failed, or in progress. So to come down to data, we'll click on data, we go to data validation. So click on data validation, select any value. But before then, you have to list out what you want your dropdown to have. So one of the things I want my dropdown to have will be, for transaction status, will be let's say not paid, and then let's say pending. Let's say failed, uncompleted, failed. So now let's go back to where we want our drop down to be. Let's say here. And then we'll come down to data validation, and then we select list. So what it's saying is what you want to select list option, so we can have multiple lists on our drop down. So select list and then insert value. So I'll just come here and select what I just wrote down here. So it picks it for me here, and then I click on apply. Now I have a list of options here. You can see not paid. Instead of manually writing it every time, and just select pending, select failed, completed, and so on. So it depending on the number of lists you put here, you can have as many lists as possible there. So um, that's for that. So that's for that. So let's head back to this. What we have. So this is basically a fee tracking sheet that I just explained. So this is it, and players don't bill by minutes; they bill by units. Most form use 6 minute increments. So you could also add the time here. Also edit the time. So I use the logic. Like I said, you charge from this explanation example I did here. I did it by hour, but it could be per minute, it could be by anything you basically want to use. I just use hours. So the logic is, let's just say the logic is $6 per text. Sorry, $6 per minute, or we could say 0.1 per hour. 0.1 dollar per hour. It depends on what your charge is. Uh, so it said, example, if you imagine you spend 18 minutes drafting an email in your Excel sheet. Yeah, so let's just say 0.3, and then the rate is $200, then you 0.3, let's just say 30 minutes, or for 1 hour, which is 60 minutes. Just say six. So then we down to set to I only program this line to carry the function of addition, this line for substitution. So let me just do this line instead. Let me use this one here. So let's say 60. Then I charge 200 for this. So what it did is multiply 60 minutes by 200 and then give us the output file amount that we wanted. So that's for this. And then moving on to visitation timelines. So the case database. Think of Excel as a digital calendar that can think of that can think, and it helps you to track your major events in a lawsuit database. The database will list every event from the day of the car accident to the dates of the statements that to the date the statement of claim was served. Conditional formatting, the traffic light system. This is a rule that says date is if date in the deadline column is approaching, change the column. Or for example, you have a deadline to file a defense on March 1st. You can set a rule that on February 26th, the cell automatically turns bright red. Cell automatically turns bright red. It's an automated early warning system that you never miss a court date. So what it's trying to say is you programming your Excel file, or your, I'll call it the Excel file or your Excel system to manage your data. So let me put it like this. So let's go to where I have this database. So I so we have One, that's event ID. On this table, we have event ID, dates, event type, description, location, responsible party, evidence slash document, and then status. Like I explained in the previous one, where we have this drop down of a list of options that we want to use. We could also track events this way, so we don't forget a particular event that we uh, um, I would say attend. Yeah, and also we could keep um, we could come here and then keep track of um, events that either we've attended, we're attending, or we're about to attend, so we don't have to go back to. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. So we could keep track of our document, our data of clients that we have and what's the cases that we are either working on or we're about to work on or we've worked on. So yeah, this is an example of a database for, let's say we have a list of clients and these are their data. We could also come here, look at the dates and then the event type, description, location, responsible party, and then we have evidence or document, and then we have to start if we've not started the case, if the case is in progress, if the case has been either adjourned or settled. So yeah, we could have this status. Mm. Uh, that's basically what this is trying to say. So to help us keep track of major events, not just major events, I would say any events at all that has to do with our work and stuff like that. You could also use it for keeping track of personal events and all that. So moving on to the next, where we have core formulas in Excel. So most of the formulas that we most likely use in our day-to-day activities are our sum and if. So I was talking about our sum because it's something we use in our day-to-day activities on Microsoft Excel. So let me head back to this sheet. Like I said here, like I said, we did multiplication. So we also use multiplication, addition, subtraction, and division. Those are one of the four major functions we'll be using in Microsoft Excel. So, so example, in a personal injury case, you list medical bills, lost wages, and car repairs. Use the sum to ensure your total damage is 10,000 naira ensure your total damage is 10,000 naira perfectly calculated. So based on the table we have, let us calculate this using sum. So we have 5,000. So uh, let me head back to this table. So let me say uh, 5,000. No, let me not do it there. Let me do it somewhere outside. So it doesn't have to be in a table. It could be outside, just you doing your calculation. So let's say 5,000. Again, we have next is wages, 2,000. So let me put it here. So let me I can name it properly. Let's say medical bills, five. Okay. Let me put it here, and then say wages. Wages was 2,000. Wages was 2,000. And car repairs was 3,000. It says 3,000. Yeah. So let's call this our total. So let me go back to formulas, and so I'll just select on the particular cell I want my total to be, and then I insert functions, still on math and trigonometry. I go to sum. Click on sum, connect. Number one to the medical bills, part two to the sorry, number two to the wages, then add arguments. Number three to the car repairs. And I click on insert, and then I get my total here. Then I get my total here for 10,000 naira. Just the same way the same total we have here. So it's perfectly calculated. So moving on to point 4. So yeah, core formulas, the legal math toolkit. Lawyers often use calculators uh, lawyers often use calculators, but Excel is safer because it leaves an audit trail. There was some totalizer. Example, in personal injury cases, you have, okay, this was the same thing I just explained here. So that's basically what they're saying here. So the next thing we have on this list is legal research and presentation with a draft by mastering these tools. By mastering these tools, a beginner ensures their legal work is not in that sorry, not they ensure their legal work is not only intellectually sound but also modern, efficient. So moving on to point 1. So where we have legal research, we have PowerPoints for legal arguments. For legal arguments, that's like visual persuasion. So there are times where we will need to draft presentations or yeah, I would say draft the presentation. So let's say in the courtroom, there are times we need to display a lot of things, maybe like list of evidence or documents we've prepared down for whatever court case we are on. So what we use a tool that will help you design documents like that is called PowerPoint. So you could also design documents like this current one I'm using right now. for this session. You could also design documents like this. You could make them, add life to them, or for animations also on documents like this. Instead of a manual scrolling like this, we could add life to documents. And this right here is a Microsoft tool that helps us to achieve something like that, that can help us to achieve something like that. So basically, this is also a design. I just filled it out so we could have a clear understanding of what PowerPoint designs are. So basically, if you want to navigate from pages manually, you could do that. That's probably when you are uh, still working on it. So you could do that. And let's say I want to um, so now this is my let's say this is my slide, and then I want to use it. So if you take notes, when I navigate to the next slide, there's an animation. So we could also add live, like I said, we could also add live to the document. It shouldn't be just scrolling up and down manually. You could also add live to it. It could be you presenting to maybe your senior colleagues, or probably junior colleagues. It could be you presenting to anybody. You just make the slides not just boring like it's supposed to be. You could add life to it and add good transition so it doesn't just feel dry and static. So here is another me navigating to another page, and also to another page. You could add various types of navigation and transition and animations too. So, so that's for PowerPoint. That's introduction to PowerPoint, what we can use PowerPoint to do. So let's say we want to prepare, okay, something like this. Let's say we want to add a new slide to this. So we could literally just say, file, sorry, not file, home. And then you can see new slide, new slide. When I click on new slide, I have a blank page here where I can edit for, yeah. So let's say I delete this. Yes, I don't need this. And delete this. And then add our own designs. Let's add, let's say insert, and then let's insert shapes. Let's say I want to insert circle. And duplicate it. Sorry, maybe I didn't see how to duplicate it. So to quickly duplicate, instead of manually going to click in, you could literally just for Windows, you could literally just hit Control D. That's for duplication. Again, for MacBooks, you could use Command D. So that's for duplicating. Let me say, let me put this here, and then let me add text. So you come to insert, so add text. Come to insert, and then click on add text box. So let's say I want to write, let's just say random things. Let's say Then yeah, then change the color so you could see it. Okay, good. So let me duplicate this again with Control D or Command D. Let me call this. Fine. So another thing I want to explain before we proceed is if I should drag this, it moves left and right, and we don't want that. Let's say we want the text and then the image, the circle to move together anytime I move it like this. So basically what you just do is select both of them. So when you click on whatever you want to select, and let's say I want to select this circle and this text. So I click on the circle and then I hold shift on my keyboard and I click on the text. So if I should drag it now, uh, click on this, and then this. So okay, able to drag both of them together. So let's say you want to move things your on your presentation from one place to another. So that's basically how you do it. Instead of manually dragging them, you just click on both. Yeah. So let me duplicate this page again with either Control D, or you could right click, and then as you can see here, duplicate slide. So let me duplicate this slide and let me select this and then use my shift key to also select this and move it around. So I want this here. I want this here. This I want it here. And then this. Here. This. This. Another thing I'll do is and then I'll come to animations, sorry, transitions, and then could use the by default it's supposed to be in none, so there are not supposed to be any transitions from one place to another when you navigate. To just move directly to the next page. So let me move this to back to none, and then let me create the slide. Let's say slide. So if you watch from this slide to the next slide, there won't be any animations. It's just change manually, and we don't want that to make our presentation look boring and static. So that's where transitions come in. So we click on transitions. We have more to give it a very smooth kind of animations. We have cuts. So basically, just is just it's not really much of a significant design like that. It's going to show, but it's really going to look like a static design. You can also use fade. Fade, okay, let me show this one after the other. Slide. So, you can see the smooth animation. I added that smooth animation to it. So let me navigate back to the previous page and then to the next page. It added this live to the document. It doesn't just move statically, sorry, like that. So let me go back. That's for more type of transition. So let's do the cut and then export this also and slide show. What the cut looks like. Like I said, it doesn't really give much of the animation effects. It just navigates. Just navigate. Very easy. Give it much of the animation effects and all that. It just navigate. So just head back to our transition and then let's finish the next. Let's go to the next animation. The next transition will be fade. Then go back to fade. And then head back to slideshow. Mind you, if you want to present, maybe you want to preview the work you have done, the work you've the work you have done, and then you just want to know how it feels, how the presentation, the presentations, and all that. So we just do it, just present it on the same window, click on it, and then so, and you notice it's not fast. So if I go back now, I'll change the transition speed to make it a little bit more slow so you could see it better. So as you can see, it just fades in and fades out. This will fade out and then the next slide will fade in. So that's for fade. So as you can see here, you can also change the duration of time you want it to fade. Let's say I want it to fade, or I want the duration of the I want the duration of the transition to take let's say 5 seconds. So let's go back to slide 2. So fading out and fading in. So basically it takes 5 seconds. It takes 5 seconds. So that's how slow if you choose whatever duration you choose, that's how long it will last. If you choose 15 seconds, the transition which is going to be 15 seconds is going to take place within 15 seconds. So it's those depends on how long you want it to delay and how you want each transition to take. Let me exit and then uh, move to the next transition type, which we have push. So move this to push and push. And then head back to slide to presenter preview. And then this, if you notice, it all animations we push from one point to another. Okay, now we look at this animation downwards. It pushes it up, and same for this. Pushes it up, and before you can see the next slide. So that's another part, another type of transition. So I think for the last type of transition we have is swipe. So basically, what this is instead of we having the horizontal version, it's just the so instead of having the vertical version, so the push basically is the vertical version, and then the swipe is the horizontal version of this type of animation. We also have a whole lot of animations, transition, sorry, on this. So let's look for a random one. Let's say, okay, let's use paper again, and then this also, and then let's select file again, and if you notice the transition from this page, this slide to this slide is different from the home. So basically, it took the transition we gave to it, which was shape, and also this. So those are types of transitions we have on PowerPoint that we need to make our PowerPoint much more lively instead of a static document. We could add transitions to it to make it much more lively. And then moving on to the next, we have research workflow discipline. So, okay, research workflow discipline. So legal research can be a rabbit hole. You need a system to avoid getting lost. So basically, what this is trying to say is making research can be, I would say, it can be confusing most of the time because if you don't have a consistent focus on what you are looking for, you eventually are going to get lost in, I'll say the web. Yeah, you're usually going to get lost in the web. And then after a long time, you realize that you've spent probably hours on the web and you've not gotten what you actually wanted. So, The funnel method starts wide and go narrow. For example, if searching for medical negligence, starts with a legal textbook. So, secondary source to understand the general rules. Sorry, start with a legal textbook. Secondary source to understand the general rules. Only, only then do you search for specific staples and cases, primary law that matches your facts. So what I'm trying to say is, it starts with a I would say a bigger version of what you want to make research on, and then you can break them into smaller parts and then make your research. So instead of just searching for a whole bunch of things and getting lost, you just search for them bit by bit. So you can have a better focus on what you are doing research on. So moving on to the next, AI as a practice tool. So AI in the AI is the abbreviation of artificial intelligence, like we all know. Probably most of us must have heard of AI before. That's artificial intelligence. We could also AI can be used for a whole lot of things. We could use AI for drafting emails, uh, arranging tools, and I say to probably those will be sorry, excuse me. How do I put this? Yeah, so arranging tools that we use for either a case. So let's say, for example, we have these documents now on Word. So let's say this is exactly what we want to work on. Either we want to shrink it, or we want to expand it, or we want to pick the key points in it. AI could literally just help us do everything instead of us burning 5 hours on a 50-page document. You could just do it in a couple of minutes and they are done. So AI is a very good research tool for this particular. It's a very good research tool. So AI is like having a very fast junior intern who occasionally makes things up. So I'll put it like this. Let's say you have a junior intern working under you and you have a lot of work to do. And then you just wanted to get the key points from a 50-page document. So you literally just give the documents to AI and then get uh, you get your result in a couple of minutes. So basically, that's what it works for. So drafting and translating, like I just explained, drafting, you could also use AI to draft documents, and then drafting and translating. So AI can also help in translating. Let's say you are working with a foreign client and then it's a foreign language, and then the sense, let's say the document was drafted in, let's say, Chinese traditional. So you could also, AI could also go through the document and then translate it from Chinese traditional to probably English or whatever language you wanted to translate the document to. Example, so let me continue with the example. Ask the I have a complex legal memo about to force measure. Help me draft a sentence email to a client explaining what this means in plain English. So you could use AI for this also, the example states here. So let me open one of the most common AIs that we use, most people use in our day-to-day activity. So you must have heard of ChatGPT before. And then, okay, so let's copy this and start prompt of drafting the email. Let's go down and see. let's remove this because basically this is not about this, so we don't confuse the AI. We should also make sure we read our prompt before prompting AI because basically it's what you give to it that is going to give back to you. So if you give it a bad prompt that is not well descriptive, it's going to give you uh, surface level or it's going to give you a result that you don't expect. So we should also make sure we explain in our prompt that this we need to explain in our prompt what we actually want, our expected result, and the task we want the particular AI to carry out for us. So if I, this prompt now is let's say a prompt now has a complex legal memo. So let me remove legal memo. Let's just say I have a complex document because this is just a document that we just designed for testing. So let's go back and then let's say something help me grab the three something. Okay, yes. So let's click on it and then let's wait for its response. So the response certificate gave us was here is a clear and professional three-sentence email you can send. So subject the subject of the email is explanation of the legal brief document. And then you will be the one to insert the client's name. So if we were specific enough to insert the client's name here, we would have stated it for us here. We have stated it for us here. So let's move on. This document is a formal intent agreement submitted to the High Court of Lagos, explaining why the blah, 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 blah. So basically, this is what we can use AI for. So if we should count our sentences based on, we told it to give us a three sentence. So this is one sentence. And then we have here, this is a comma. And then this is our second sentence. And then this is our third sentence. So basically what AI does is take whatever you give to it and then make a search on the web and give you the best outcome possible. So so that is why I always recommend you give it a very, very good prompt so you don't have issues with your result. You don't have a bad result. So that is for using AI to uh, go through document and then help you either compress it, expand it, uh, give us key points and all that. So let's say I wanted to do another thing for me. Let's say I give it, let's say I wanted to give me key points. Give me 5 key points. So let's say 5 key points spotted on the email and the email drafted. So now these are 5 key points we came up with after going through the email it's drafted a while ago. So number one, we have clear identification of the document purpose. We have simple explanation of the structure. We have clarification of the core legal issues, explanation of what the court is being asked to do, professional and client friendly tone. So that is the 5 key points it spotted from that particular email. You could also do this to a whole lot of things. Let's say give an article and then we want to find for some certain things on it. So yeah, that is one way we could use AI as a tool in our day-to-day activities, work-based. So the summarization superpower, like I said, it also summarizes. Example, you have So basically, this is a prompt we could give to ChatGPT, but because of time, we want to just make things a little bit snappy and then so that the class does not go really boring. So you have a 200-page transcript of the witness interview. You can ask an AI to scan this text and list every time the witness mentions the blue truck. So let's say a statement was given to you by either the police that, okay, yeah, this was a statement from the witnesses we have. Instead of going through the statement manually looking for, let's say, a blue truck like we have here, sort of going and looking for how many times the witnesses mentioned the blue truck, you could also just copy uh, your the transcript and then give it to ChatGPT to uh, give it to ChatGPT and then tell it what you want to do. Maybe you want it to go through the entire transcript and then tell you how many times the witness mentioned blue truck, and then ChatGPT will do that for you in a couple of seconds, and then you've gotten your answer. So that's how we can use AI as a practice tool. So the fourth one, we have risks and limitations. So basically what this is, it's a guide rail like this. So let's go to the definition. This is the most important part for a beginner. So this is the most important part for a beginner to understand to avoid being fired or disbarred. So basically what saying here is there are rules, regardless of how useful we may think AI is. Uh, there are rules as to how to use it so we don't end up having problems with work or stuff like that. So, number one, we have hallucinations. So, the Avianca warning in the famous Mata v. Avianca case, a lawyer used AI to find cases, and the AI invented fake cases that sounded real. Rule: you must manually click and read every case an AI mentioned. So basically, what it's saying here is he used AI to generate cases and fake cases actually, and AI made the cases look real, and then basically it's not what we want to do in our day-to-day activities. We don't want fake stories, so we don't get either fired or bad. So one of the measures we could take against this is you must manually click and read. One of the measures we could take to avoid cases like this is we should always manually click and read through every response that it is giving us, that the AI model is giving us. So to spot out issues and other faults or submit to either or proceed. So, so is black hole. Public AI models, so like the free version of ChatGPT, learn from what we tell them. So what we're saying here is these AI models are like I'll put them like a junior intern. Let's say we have a junior staff that is an IT student. So that is what we can look at our AI. So whatever you give to it, it's learning from it and hope it's going to give you back. So what this is saying is public AI model, that's the free version of ChatGPT here, can also it's from whatever gives us results on what we actually give to it. Uh, so like I mentioned before now, when it comes to prompting, so we should also always give it the right prompt to avoid misleading results. So the third thing is human in the loop. AI can give you a C minus grade draft. It is your job to edit, verify, and polish it into an A plus legal product. So what this is saying is relating back to point one here. So what this is saying is whatever result it gives to you, you're supposed to go through it, edit it if possible, always verify and also polish it to maybe look really, really professional or not just so you don't end up sending non unprofessional either emails or articles or documents to people so as to not make great mistakes that we will end up regretting. So that's for human in the loop. So what the trend says, we should just always try to read, edit, verify. Most importantly, verify and polish it into an A plus legal work product. So in conclusion, mastering these three pillars, data document engineering, data integrity, and AI-driven research is what separates a legal assistant from a legal strategist. By automating the business work in Word and securing your facts in Excel and you ethically leveraging AI, you free up your greatest asset, your legal mind, your legal mind. Remember the most brilliant legal argument in the world losses. In the world losses, sorry, in, okay, most brilliant argument in the world losses its power if it is hidden behind poor formatting or ins- sorry, behind poor formatting or inaccurate data. The future of law is integrated. The future of law is integrated. It requires precision by the formatter, the logic of a data analyst, and the curiosity of a technologist by man, Word, Excel, AI, by mastering Word, Excel, AI today, you aren't just learning how to finish your tasks. You are building the foundation of a modern, high-impact legal career. Don't just practice law, engineer it. So yeah, that comes to the end of our session for today on data formatting and data formatting and preparation or data preparation and formatting. So please, does anyone have any questions to ask? So we could answer them. Hello, hello.
Good evening, sir. Thank you so much for that very intriguing um, presentation. So the floor is open now for questions. Take questions from the presentation. Please, if there are any questions, you should just ask now. Are there any questions from the house or our facilitator? So, okay. Well, Miss Shaza Enoch says, well done, Osman, for a very detailed presentation. Please, want to take questions now. Are there questions? Are there questions? Questions can be put in the chat box, or if you have questions, you could just raise your hands to ask, then we'll take questions. We have 14 participants on the call. Someone should have at least a question to ask. from today's presentation. The floor is open. And so we're waiting for questions. Okay. So I have a question in the chat box from Mr. Shaza. It says, how, when we're talking about tracking, I wish to know how you remove such tracking if you receive a document that has such. It says, how do you arrive at a final document without tracking options and ready to print? So these are two questions. First question is, when you were talking about tracking, then someone sends you a document that is tracked, or you are the one sending a document that is tracked. It says, how do you remove such tracking? If someone sends you a document that they are tracking, how do you take it off your document? Then second of all, how do you arrive at a final document without the tracking options and you can print? Mr. Osmond, over to you. Thanks.
Yeah, okay. So to answer the first question, you said when when I was talking about tracking, how do you remove such tracking? So this is based on a role-based access feature. So if I receive a document from someone or someone shares me the link to a particular document, basically before I will be able to either comment, edit, or to edit, or remove the tracking uh, feature, I will request access to um, I will request access to those features. So let me share my screen again so I could show you what it looks like. Yeah, so right here you can see editing, making this reviewing and viewing. So now editing, if you are working with other colleagues or other people and you want them to also add their own to make their own changes or add view and write the document with you, you you can share the document with them by editing. You could also share the document with people you don't want them to be able to edit. That's reviewing. And then people you just want now reviewing, they can people you shared reviewing with, they will be able to review only, they won't be able to edit, and they'll also be able to add comments to either a particular session. So if I was reviewing and I select this, a comment box will appear here. So I can type my comment, and then whoever made the document or whoever created the document will be able to see that comment, so that, okay, yeah, I left a comment on a particular section. I could leave various comments everywhere, like select a particular thing and then leave comments there, probably maybe a suggestion or uh, uh, an opinion that you should either add, edit, or maybe delete that particular thing that I am relating to. So those are the type of role-based access we have. So you could also manage access like whoever created the document could also manage access of people with the people that are viewing, editing, and reviewing. So you could just either remove somebody from either viewing to reviewing or editing, or you could stop them from uh, you could stop them from editing and then just make them only reviewers or viewers. So uh, but now this brings me back to your question when you said what can how can you remove it. It is not, I'll put it like this. You can't remove tracking from someone else's document. You could only request access to remove, and then they grant the access and they remove it by themselves. So basically, if I shared this, if someone had shared the document with me and I come to review, and I click on this, it will show me to request access to uh, change the tracking status. Yeah, to change the tracking status. And then once I click on request access, whoever created the document will see that notification that, okay, yeah, someone is requesting access to remove the tracking feature uh, from their document. So they can either decline access or accept the access. So did I answer your question, or do you need me to throw more light?
Mr. Shaza, is your question answered? You can just respond in the chat if your question has been sufficiently answered. But I think Mr. Osmond did a good job with answering the questions at hand. So, um, Mr. Osmond, maybe I don't know if you work in legal, but I just want to ask, what are some maybe common mistakes or formatting errors that we see in legal documents, if you do see legal documents, and what are the ways we can just go around it? Hello, can you hear me, sir? Hello,
Yeah,
sir, can you
so
hear me, sir?
I forgot I turned my mic off. I was,
Okay, I said
um,
if I don't know if you work in legal or if you are privy to see legal documents. Even I'm going to ask like, okay, from your experience, what are some common formatting errors you see in legal documents, maybe in courts or reports, and what are the, if you can just tell us how to work our way around it.
okay. Yeah, so I don't actually work in legal, so I could from my own experience, I have seen common mistakes that people have made made, I'm sorry, people have made in document structuring while using Microsoft Word. So number one is incorrect margin lines. That's number one. Number two, inconsistent formatting. So I will break this down and then explain them also using that. I just want to list them out. Number three, we have uh, I'm just bringing it off the top of my head. Sorry, so it's
No
just coming
problem,
up.
sir. That's fine, sir.
Okay. So number three, we have mixing of date formats. So that's the way we write our dates. And then number four, we have different pen colors. So let me break them down. I think number one, I said something about margin lines and yes, I did say something about incorrect margin lines. Yes. So let me share my screen on that particular uh, so number one, like I said, incorrect margin lines. So basically, if this were to be a document and I want to probably list this and put it like this. Sorry, let me turn off the stacking so it doesn't confuse me. So if this were to be a good document, instead of me giving all these too many spaces in one document, uh, some people make that mistake. They think too many spaces make your work look cleaner, but I would say that's a mistake that people make. Accurate spacing actually does make your work look cleaner. So if, let's say we want to uh, give, want to move to the next line and then something like this. Instead of giving it double spacing like this, we could literally just move it to the next line. It's still a lot more readable. Let me make it smaller. This size. Still read it like this. And let's say we want to increase the size, we could just come here because it's in 12 pixels. We calculate font sizes in pixels. That's pixel. That's so let's say I want to move it from 12 pixels to 16 pixels. So yeah, just make it like this. So the incorrect formatting I was talking about was giving too many spaces. Let's say it looks in the person's eyes, probably it looks a little bit let me say jam packed here, and then you just uh, add the break line to this. If I were to be reading this and the person who created the document, it is not here to explain to me that these two are one line, I would think this is a new paragraph. So those are common mistakes that people make. So they give too many spaces, a lot of space in. I would say spaces in between are not for the sentence are not supposed to be more than uh, 12 to 16 pixels. Yes, 12 to 16 pixels. So anything more than that is going to look more like a paragraph instead of it's going to look more like a new paragraph instead of a continuation of a particular sentence. That's one. Secondly, if I could remember, I mentioned something about inconsistent formatting. So that could be either mixing fonts, font sizes, uh, and heading styles. Okay, and heading styles throughout the document. So let's come back here. Let's say I want to change the font for, let's say I want to change the font from this to, let's say, something else. Let's just use a random font. Let me say this. Okay, this is for premium subscription. So let me change it to this. And then if I start a font with this, I shouldn't have more than 2 to 3 fonts in a particular document. So the document don't look I won't say disorganized, but I would say it doesn't look professional to have multiple fonts in a particular I won't say multiple fonts, sorry, to have more than three, or three should be your maximum font in a particular document. So that is for fonts. And also about fonts, there are uh, there are professional fonts, or should I say official fonts that you can use for formatting official documents. So one of those fonts are there are a bunch of them, and one of those fonts we can use this, which is Times New Roman. We could use There's this other one I do like to use. Where's this one? Sans serif or sans. Okay, since it's not here, let's just use this Sergio UI bold. So we could use the bold version and we could use the light version. So if you're wondering how I change the bold, the font weight, so this B here signifies for bold. So if you're on Windows, you could use Control B, or if you're on Mac, you could use Command B. So yeah, that is how you could toggle. So what you just do is select whatever section you want to change either the font weight or you want to change the font style to maybe italic. So making it italic is going to be a little bit slant, or you want to underline it. So all you just need to select whatever you want to underline, make bold, italic, or whatever, or you want to do a line run through. You could also uh, select whatever you want and then do the line through. So sorry, I'm deviating from the question you asked. So like I explained, inconsistent fonts, that's mixing too many fonts in a particular document. You have different fonts. Let's say you have Times Serif, Sergio UI, you have Times Roman, and a whole lot of different fonts. It doesn't make the document look presentable. So those are the one another second mistake that people make. The third mistake I would say is font size. Now, font size could also be a problem. So let's take, for example, this was an official document, and let me make this visible. And I want to submit this for maybe review.
Not hearing you.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Hello.
Yes,
Yes,
I
I
can.
yes, I can, sir.
Okay, I thought someone was saying, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, okay. So, moving on to what I was saying, I was talking about inconsistent font size. So, font sizes shouldn't be for headers. So, there are specific font sizes that should be for particular kinds of components on your document. Let's say, for example, headers. Let's select, let's say for header one, let's say it's not supposed to be more than either from 20 to 24, so it doesn't look too big in your document and it doesn't occupy a lot of space in your document. So, and then for subheaders, it will be, I will call H2, heading 2, sorry, mentioning H2, I've been used to just abbreviating it. So let's say this. Okay, we made this a subtitle before. Let's change it back to a heading tone. So I would say the recommended size for it is 16. As you can see, it comes with a recommended font size. So if you should go back to this heading, it's within 20 to 24, and then this heading 2 is 16, and then the subtitle is 14, heading 3 is also 14, and so forth and so. So for paragraph now, we have 12 pixels. So that is the recommended font size. That is recommended font size for your body text. I'll say your body. I'll call it the body text because that's the body of the document where you can write articles. So you use your list paragraph, and the recommended font size is 12 pixels. So we don't end up maybe increasing the font size, thinking it's not bold enough, and then the whole document is looking like you are wearing a and enlargement glasses. So that's the third mistake. Yes, that's the third mistake I can spot out. Third common mistake I can spot out for document drafting and yes, document formatting and drafting. I actually four, and the fourth one is what is the fourth one again? Okay, I did mention five. Yeah. So the fourth one is different color pens. So what this actually means is if we're using, I don't think we should use more than two, three colors in by drafting a document. So one color should be probably if you want to use a different color for your heading, you take one color. Your text, your heading, I mean this, take one color. If you want your subtitle to take a different color, this could also be to the person reading it could differentiate between headings and subheadings. So basically, I would say you should use font size to differentiate between the headings and subheadings because imagine I make this subheading a heading and then I make it red and then I come down here and then I paste another one and then I also make it red. It makes no sense for your headings to be small and then as small as the same size with your uh, as small as the same size with your subheadings. So using different colors is also advisable. I would recommend you use font size to differentiate between your headings and your subheadings. And then if lastly, if you want to use a different color to highlight specific um, things. This is where highlight comes in. So select the document, the part you want to highlight. You come here, you see this pen looking option, and then you click on it, it highlights it for you. So I highlighted it yellow, so you can't see it properly. So let me highlight it. Let me highlight it red, so you can see it better. So if I zoom in, okay, still yellow. So yes, now I've highlighted it red. And now you can see. So if someone is reading it and let's say you highlight it, the person can ask you, okay, yeah, I saw you highlighted a particular section of the document. Can you please explain this to me? Explain this to me. So yeah, that is for highlighting. And then color, like I said, color is also very important when structuring a document. So you don't make mistake by using multiple colors. Maybe you open a document and then you're seeing up to like 5 different colors. Basically, it makes no sense. Makes the document look a little bit, I would say, disorganized because why would you be using various colors on a particular document? So that's for uh, using different color pens or color types on a particular document. Lastly, we have date format. So now let me explain this date format. Let's say in somewhere like this, we have something like 26th January 20, okay, I should say 1998. And then in another place, we have something like 12/09/2007 or 2003. So I would say you should stick to one uh, date format to make it consistent. So if we're starting with this first option, we should stick to the first option. If we're starting with the second option, so we don't confuse the person reading it. So we should always make sure we use a you should make our date format consistent so we don't have issues with it. we don't confuse the person reading it. So yeah, these are the four things. These are the five things I can spot as common mistakes people can make while while drafting out of documents. So let me do a recap on that. So number one, we have incorrect formatting, incorrect margins and lines. Number two, we have inconsistent formatting. So under inconsistent formatting, that's where we have fonts, like using various font types in a particular document. Font sizes, that three. The fourth one, we have using different color on a particular form, on a particular document. And then the fourth one, we have date format. So yeah, those are the four things I can say I have seen so far. And probably there are more, but I just can't remember. These are the ones I could remember now, that the mistakes people have made while structuring a particular document. So have I answered your question? Hello? Oh. Hello? Can you hear me? I said, have I answered your question? Hello? Hello? Okay. In her absence, does anyone have any other question? So we can move on with it. So when she comes to take over, instead of just having a dead silent moment. Hello, do we have any question? Well, I just saw your comment on Akan Udo. I don't know if I am pronouncing your name correctly. My bad. Uh, Thank you very much. Do we have any questions?
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much, Osmond. I'm sure. Hello? I'm not sure that Esther is on with us, but I'm guessing in the absence of any other questions, let's see, what's the time? I guess this is a good point to close the curtain. Thank you very much. And see you tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yeah. Goodbye,
Yeah,
sir.
okay.
Thank you very much for listening.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Chicha. Thank you, Osmond, and thank you everyone for those who waited. I see Selzing, the Shasa Enoch, and Bukan Akan Udo. Thank you very much, guys. So we'll see you tomorrow, I guess.
All right, sir.
Okay. Thank you very
Good
much.
night, sir. Bye.
Night.